So, Dana, let me ask you, Democrats today hyperventilating over this audio obtained by The Nation magazine. It's McConnell saying that the Republican Party will be attaching riders on spending bills to force the president's hand on everything from Obamacare to funding for the EPA. He made the comments 2 months ago to a group of donors, including the infamous Koch brothers.
What Mitch McConnell gave them was a picture of what that dream come true would look like on the Senate floor. And that dream was caught on audio tape, which surfaced today in The Nation and on the Undercurrent website.
Last week, a recording surfaced of a speech given at the Koch brothers' secret meeting they had in San Diego, or thereabouts. It was a secret meeting on their political strategy.
There was a rather revealing article in the press sometime in the last couple of weeks about a speech the Senate Republican leader who wants to be majority leader. It was Senator Mitch McConnell's speech to the Koch brothers political forum.
I think Mitch McConnell got caught in his 47% Mitt Romney moment. I think it shows the extent and the lengths he will go to pander to his party, millionaires and billionaires, at the expense of hurting Kentuckians.
I didn't say anything in the private meeting I haven't said publicly.
I wanted to get right to the news that's on the front pages in Kentucky today, and that is the release of audio tape yesterday that we played on this program last night, where Senator McConnell is saying some things that he's never said in Kentucky before, including his if he becomes majority leader, a refusal to ever allow a minimum wage increase to come to a vote.
Now back to the issues. On a secretly recorded speech released last week, McConnell's heard saying he would not allow a debate on the minimum wage hike. But today, he clarified that.
This is the exact wrong thing to do when you're having such slow growth. There are circumstances under which, when you have a better economy, that raising the minimum wage might make sense.
One of the speakers who was recorded, and there were others, a man by the name of Richard Fink, who's vice president of Koch Industries, a big shot with the Koch brothers. Koch brothers, of course, were there listening. Here's what he said. Mr. President, some pretty terribly vicious things about unemployed Americans. He basically called them lazy. He went on to say that the minimum wage leads to fascism. I'm making this up. This is what he said.
What I found even more important and revealing was at the end, Senator McConnell said, according to the transcript released from the meeting, that the worst day in his 30-year political life was the day that the McCain-Feingold bill was signed into law. Now, for those of you who don't even remember it, because the Supreme Court's virtually gutted its impact, McCain-Feingold was a bipartisan bill designed to limit campaign contributions in size and to eliminate, insofar as was possible, secrecy in campaign contributions, so we'd all have to fess up, and if somebody was trying to get to us, at least we know who was paying for it. Seems reasonable, doesn't it? How could you think that's the worst thing that ever happened? Only if you thought the best thing that could ever happen was if the Koch brothers and others could run black bag operations in every state in the country. What about 9/11? What about the financial meltdown? And what about in his native Kentucky, 70% of the coal miners losing their jobs before the EPA ever said a word, with no strategy to put them back to work in other ways?
A secret recording this morning of Senator Mitch McConnell.
Yet another secret recording has emerged in Kentucky's U.S. Senate race.
Of Senator Mitch McConnell is the latest controversy in the campaign for U.S. Senate.
A website called The Nation obtained a recording of McConnell speaking at a strategy conference of wealthy donors.
Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell is promising he'll block a vote on minimum wage, student loans, and employment if he becomes the majority leader.
The recording shows that McConnell will hurt Kentuckians to benefit billionaires.
McConnell's allegiances are with rich donors at the expense of hardworking Kentuckians.
McConnell left without speaking to reporters.
When billionaire oil barons, the Koch brothers, hosted a speech by their top political strategist Richard Fink, their guest, Mitch McConnell, said he found the day inspiring. Maybe it was when Fink blamed poor people for their poverty, linked minimum wage to Nazism, or flat out admitted the GOP's extreme right-wing agenda is all about more money for the 1%. So Mitch, exactly which part of the Koch brothers' agenda is it that inspires you?
MoveOn.org. Political action is responsible for the content of this advertisement.
Date, June 16th. Location, St. Regis Resort, California. Tom Cotton and the world's richest billionaires secretly gathered to make deals. They spend millions to elect Tom Cotton, and Cotton supports their agenda. The only Arkansas congressman to oppose the Farm Bill. Vote 5 times against disaster relief. And support even more tax breaks for the billionaires who hosted the secret conference. That's Tom Cotton. The billionaires get ahead, and Arkansas gets left behind.
The Democratic Party of Arkansas is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I am philosophically opposed to taxpayer subsidies. If we are going to end them, it must be done across the board.
Let's shut down the federal EPA.
I do not support a federal minimum wage.
We do have to reform Medicare and Social Security by looking at transitioning our younger workers onto individual plans. Closing the doors to the Department of Education.
What happens behind closed doors at a Koch-funded retreat? Just ask Corey Gardner. Corey Gardner is not extreme? The Koch brothers lobbied to preserve oil industry tax breaks, and Gardner voted 5 times to protect billions in government handouts to big oil. Gardner also disagrees with NASA and the US military about the science of climate change. Not Extreme Gardner opposes marriage equality and led an 8-year crusade for personhood legislation and sponsored a bill to make abortion a felony crime. Corey Gardner is not just not extreme, he makes sure his friends come first too. Gardner co-sponsored bipartisan legislation to promote alternative transportation, only to withdraw that support after the Koch brothers' political network strongly opposed the bill. Ask not extreme Corey Gardner, what did you promise to get the dirty money?